This is a Trenchless Technology podcast with your host, Sharon Bueno, editor of Trenchless Technology magazine. Welcome, everyone, to the Trenchless Technology podcast. As stated at the top, I'm Sharon Bueno, editor of Trenchless Technology magazine. Today's episode, we are talking with Benjamin Media President Rob Krzys and all things HDD Rodeo. Our popular HDD Rodeo is back in 2024 after a more than 20-year absence, set to take place September 25th through the 27th in Independence, Missouri. As drill master of the original rodeos, Rob joins the podcast to break down what can be expected from this year's mega event. We're definitely excited to have this rodeo back on everyone's HDD calendar. We have a lot to get to, so let's get started. Here's my conversation with Rob Krzys. Hey, Rob. Welcome back to the Trenchless Technology podcast. I believe you are our first repeat guest on the podcast, so it's a very special honor.
Yeah, no kidding. That's great to hear. Thanks, Sharon.
Well, we're here to talk everything HDD Rodeo, and in honor of the occasion, I have my Drill Master t-shirt on. Full disclosure. No one else can see it, obviously, because we're recording a podcast, but I do have my HDD shirt on for it.
The old school drill masters, the drill master was the best, Sharon. I loved seeing that we had the old Einstein representation of the drill master, the smartest guys out on the construction site. Let's put it that way. We'll give the drillers props on that one.
Absolutely. Like I said, we're here to talk about the 2024 HDD Rodeo. It's back. It's better than ever. So what is the scoop?
Well, we're planning to have the rodeo this year on September 25th through September 27th, just outside of Kansas City, Missouri, in Independence, Missouri. Compliments of Mark I Electric, who is going to be hosting it at a field site a little bit off the beaten path, but it looks like to be a great location in Independence, Missouri. We know there's a lot of drillers out in that region, so hopefully they're gonna show up and show off, basically. And we can't wait to have it. We're actually going to have it's going to be a great event. Obviously, it's all outdoors, and the drilling competition is going to be a little bit longer than we used to in the past. So it's going to be an interesting event this year.
Like you said, the rodeo is September 25th through the 27th. It's really a combination of 3 events within one. We have the educational sessions, we have the exhibiting, and we have the competition. So maybe break down each of these as we go here. So first up, talk about the educational sessions. What can people expect from that?
Okay, on the first day, what we're planning to do and what we have underlined right now is we have an owner track for directional drilling that's going to cover a lot of different types of topics for owners that are looking to spec out directional drilling or horizontal directional drilling. And then we have a technology track that is going to focus exclusively on manufacturers' technology in the drilling industry. So new locating technology, new drill technology, new tooling, new bits, everything that these guys need to use out on their drilling site. We're hoping to showcase some of that technology that's been coming out in the last couple of years. So that's going to be the seminar day. And then when we move into Thursday and Friday, we're going to move into the competition. The competition is going to take place over the course of about 8 hours each day. And we're going to drill off about 7 to 8 drill crews at a time. We'll have a morning time slot and an afternoon time slot for both of those days. Each driller is going to get their own lane. They're going to have to choose on the very first day, they're going to have to pick a lane assignment out of a hat. So it's a very random draw. So nothing's going to be structured and set up in that manner. And then actually on Thursday, during the competition, it's going to be World Trenchless Day. And we're going to have a World Trenchless Day party that evening to celebrate all things trenchless technology, not just horizontal directional drilling. So it's going to be an event for the drillers. And that's kind of our objective here with the whole overall HDD Rodeo and to showcase the technology.
We're also going to have a lot of exhibitors there. We learned way back from the first one in 1998 when we had the exhibitors indoors. They didn't want to be indoors. They wanted to be outside with the drillers. So that became an outdoor trade show going forward. What can they expect from the exhibiting companies?
Yeah, exactly right. Everybody wants to watch the competition, even though sometimes watching horizontal directional drilling isn't that exciting because it's all underground. The exhibitors basically are going to be surrounding the field competition. And so everybody's going to witness what's going on. Everybody's going to see the equipment that's in use in the field. And we are not going to have any indoor exhibits whatsoever, all outdoor, under tents. And it's going to be just a great event together. As I said, we're going to celebrate the drillers and the manufacturers and suppliers that support that marketplace too. And that's the core to the HDD Rodeo.
You mentioned World Trenchless Day is taking place that week, and as you said, we have a pretty cool party planned for everybody to come to.
We do. We're going to be in downtown Kansas City at a music venue called Grinders. It's going to be a concert to celebrate World Trenchless Day, and we're working with a number of different sponsors on it right now. So we're looking forward to that event too. That'll be a good time on Thursday night for sure.
Now, we always talk about the history of the rodeo and how they came about, but maybe there are some folks out there that don't know that history. So talk a little bit about the history of the HDD Rodeo and how the idea came about and came to fruition.
Well, back in the probably in the mid 90s, there were some dealers that would have some competitions on their own, and then we started to talk about it amongst us in the industry and decided that it would be really cool to have an overall competition for the industry. And we developed it into what basically did become the HDD Rodeo. One of the big things was to showcase horizontal directional drilling at the time. There were some issues in the marketplace when it came to installations and when it came to really at the time some utility strikes. Obviously, utility locating became a huge issue in the drilling market, all the way to the point that some cities were actually putting moratoriums on horizontal directional drilling. So we decided that it was a great opportunity to showcase some of the best drillers that are out there and really showcase accuracy. And that's where the competition rules came into play. The rules are designed around the concept of an actual small job site, and the timing and the judging criteria is based on that success, whether you can have a successful completion of the job or not. Hence, we have a huge award prizes. Right now we're almost up to $200,000 in awards for the top 6 drill crews. So it's, sometimes jobs are a risk and a reward. And in this case, it would be a big reward if they take first place this year.
Now, the first rodeo was in 1998 in Grapevine, Texas. And I know I started at BMI in January of 98. So this was already in the planning stages when I came aboard. I knew nothing about trenchless technology at the time. So it was a great learning experience. And the reaction, though, was pretty cool because we didn't know what the reaction was going to be for this event. What did you learn about the HDD market back then from those events?
Going back to kind of the discussion in the process, there was a lot to learn actually at at the time. I had a little bit of experience with horizontal directional drilling. I had been to a lot of seminars, classrooms. I had worked on a couple rigs here or there, but I nowhere near had the knowledge of what I learned at the rodeo from. It's a whole wide range of things, the accuracy, the capabilities of these drill crews, the pride that they take in their quality installations, to product pipe that was going into the ground at the time. And that has come a long way since then. And, we really learned that it really was a viable source for the types of installations that were being put in place by some of the owners and primarily on the cable side, smaller diameter installations, and the accuracies were amazing and the timing was amazing as to how quick these drillers could get things done. But yeah, overall, it was a really great event, and the way that the industry came in and supported each other, from the mud guys to offering services, in mud mixing, offering up free mud at the time. All of the locators came together and monitored frequencies in the field. Again, it really is just kind of a celebration of the directional drillers.
It really was. Back then, we didn't know what the reaction was going to be and how many would come, and we were blown away. I remember talking about it after we got back from the rodeo. We were blown away by the response and the reaction that everybody had at that first rodeo. It was incredible, actually.
It really was. I brought up the owners, and at the time we had the National Telecommunication Damage Prevention Council assisting in the field from judging, and they were amazed at some of the accuracy and came to the realization that it was a really viable way to get their jobs done, basically.
Now, over the years in the office, we would tease you here and there about when you're bringing back the rodeo, Rob. When's the rodeo coming back? What made this the right time to bring back the rodeo to the industry stage?
I'd have to say it really is dominated by the cable market right now. Not that drilling can't do, basically any other utility that's out there, but it's really dominated by the broadband and communication
Mm-hmm.
marketplace and the electric marketplace too. As more and more stuff is being put underground, we're now going through the cycle of a lot of the fiber optics that have been in the ground, upwards of 20 years plus. And there's a lot of money that is coming into that broadband marketplace from wiring rural America to getting these fiber backbones into the ground. A lot of this is in support of the technology that we're seeing within our infrastructure. So, the more bandwidth that we can get into the ground, the better off a lot of these utility technologies are going to be. As we've seen, like I said, there's money going into it. And there's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done over the next number of years, upwards of 10 years. So it's time to bring the rodeo back, Sharon, and that's what's exciting about it.
So, what has been the reaction since we had first announced the rodeo was coming back? I know we have some of the rodeo veterans that worked on the first ones. They're involved again with this one. What are you hearing?
We're getting a lot of support out of it. We really kind of launched into this with a little bit of a guerrilla marketing mentality, and sneaking the rodeo out there into the marketplace, and it's gaining a ton of momentum. We're getting a lot of support from the old guys, and we're getting some new people into the marketplace too that are all excited to see, what takes place at the HDD Rodeo. I've actually spoken with some past winners that are considering bringing in equipment and, coming in to compete. And we're hoping to make some of those announcements here in the next few weeks to create more of that competition, basically, Sharon, beat the old winners and see what you can do. So hopefully we'll put that together.
You mentioned this earlier about the cash and prizes, because with any competition, there's winners. And with winners comes some reward. So, what will the winners of the rodeo earn for their efforts? What are we looking at?
Like I said earlier, we're looking at, we're upwards of almost $200,000 in awards. I know from our perspective within Benjamin Media, the first place crew is going to be, receiving $10,000 in cash, and they can use that as they wish. And it breaks down from there, with second place being at 7,000, third at 5,000, and it breaks down into the top 6 places. The best place to go see the itemization and the breakdown in there is to go to the website, and HDDRodeo.com is going to showcase all of the awards. And I'm really amazed at the industry support with how they've all come in and said, "Yep, we're going to come in and celebrate these crews, and we're going to offer stuff up for the competition." But yeah, I would strongly say visit the site, as we have more packages that are going to be coming in too, as we work with more and more of the manufacturers and suppliers. So, upwards of $200,000. Some jobs are risk and reward, Sharon. So if you think you're the best, to the drillers out there, there's a lot of big reward here on this one.
Obviously, there'll be a lot of new memories created with this rodeo, but what are some of your memories from the past events? I mean, we had some fun.
Outside of the weather, we had a mix of weather at times, but you just got to keep drilling is what it comes right down to. And a little bit of rain or a little bit of a storm, that's okay if the pipes in the ground keep rolling. Some of the memories in the past, thinking back to when Barbco tried to yank a Volkswagen Bug into the hole. I shouldn't say try; they successfully did pull that Volkswagen Bug down into the hole. That was a fun one. The very last rodeo, I can remember being on the phone with our Danish friends as they took first, second, and third place in Grapevine, Texas. Because of the weather constraints, we had to push the whole competition off by a day. And their flights were booked to go back. So I was on the phone with them back and forth while they were at the airport. And if I can recall correctly, Sharon, that was probably a flip phone because it was 2001, with limited cell service, going back to that broadband comment earlier. It was just really exciting. The crews that won were just ecstatic when they won. One of the other memories was when some of the vacuum equipment first started coming out into the marketplace, and we had this hydrovac equipment that was in the field. It's really amazing as to how far some of this stuff has come over the last 20 years, and we're excited to showcase it now coming up and
Yeah.
create more memories.
It's a different time too. Technology is different. It's faster. I can remember the leaderboard that you would turn that
Yeah.
had the placements on there. Are we bringing the I don't want to say archaic leaderboard, or are we gonna or is there gonna be a new way of doing that? Because people, I remember at the event night, they were looking forward to seeing how the crews did the first night.
Yeah, back in the days of handwriting everything almost from that standpoint. Will we be more digital this year with our leaderboard? Possibly, but sometimes the old school methods still do work. I'm currently looking at specking out some of the judging field equipment also, and we have used traditional hand tools in the past to do that. And I think we're going to do that again because it's very precise and it's very accurate, and it provides the crews with an actual visual of when we're doing their measurements at that point in time and not just pushing a button. Not that I'm going to discount that technology either. It is extremely important in the field. But the physical measurements and the physical writing, it creates a little excitement, is what it does. So we'll probably keep those big whiteboards up there so that we can post the drilling times and we can post the times as to what takes place.
There's been so much different technology over the last 25 years. But it does come down to just drilling, right? In the end,
Comes down to
drilling is
just
drilling.
It comes down to just drilling. The big change that we are going to make this year is we're not going to be pulling in any product pipe. Unfortunately, it just takes a little bit more time to do that. And, the accuracy is the critical component there. So once you start to pull in, you should be okay as long as you're doing everything properly from that perspective. So we are going to be judging on just the pilot bore out. So that's kind of an important thing for people to understand in this competition. We are going to require them to exit to hit a bullseye to make it a fan favorite. We know that's not an actual application on some job sites. However, it is a fan favorite to see that exit point. And if the drillers are good, they should have no problem with that whatsoever. So that's some of the fun stuff that we are going to put into it. The whole field event is going to be exciting. We have Tough Rod who's hosting a Traxxas racetrack during the competition too. So, there's a little more fun on the side, and we're hoping to put together some safety corral also. So we'd like to set up some trench shoring safety processes there. Again, it's celebrating these guys in the field, Sharon, and helping out where we can.
How can folks find out about this event and sign up or get more information for an attendee or sponsorship opportunities or exhibiting?
Great question. They can hit the website, hdrodeo.com. And like I said, that's changing on a pretty consistent basis as we gain more awards and we see more and more talk about the HDD Rodeo in the marketplace today. So that's the best place to go check it out.
Well, it sure sounds like a fun event, Rob. I can't wait to see how things play out when I'm in Missouri for it. But you get the final word on the podcast for the rodeo, so let's have it.
Get signed up now, whether you want to compete or whether you want to attend. From an owner's perspective, it's a great place to find some great drill crews, and we get to find out who the best is in 2024. We're really excited about it, Sharon. We think that the market has come into that fruition, and it's time to roll when it comes to the rodeo. So I hope to see everybody there. You can sign up online again on the website, hdrodeo.com. And we want to thank all of the manufacturers and suppliers that are supporting us now. And we hope to get some more of those guys involved too as it continues to grow. So we'll hopefully see everybody in September.
That wraps up this Trenches Technology podcast. My thanks to Rob Krzys for joining me. To learn more about the 2024 HDD Rodeo, visit hdrodeo.com. And to get caught up on all the latest Trenches happenings, check out our latest issue of Trenches Technology, which can be found in your mailbox, inbox, or online at trenchestechnology.com. This has been a Trenchless Technology podcast. To hear more of my conversations about the trenchless industry, go to trenchlesstechnology.com/podcast.